Hey, imagine you're an executive producer at Lucasfilm, a Kathleen Kennedy type. You're saying to yourself, I wonder what we could do for the next Star Wars standalone film. Well, I barge into your office, slap a fat stack of paper on your desk, a script titled Kenobi, a Star Wars story. And before you're able to call security, I say, don't worry, Kathy, I got you covered. This is Talkin' Tuskens. We start our film with Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine, played by Ewan McGregor, only 5 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Here we see Obi-Wan a little bit different from how he is in previous films. He's learning about his place in the world, searching for something he can't quite find. Meaning. He's a little bit bitter, not quite sure why he needs to protect Luke. Occasionally, he has flashbacks to a mission he had with Anakin, hopefully played by Hayden Christensen, during the Clone Wars. This would be a mission that we haven't seen before, and would be a great place for an Ahsoka cameo, but more on that later. Before the plot really kicks in, Obi-Wan starts as a wandering samurai type, trying to peacefully help out settlements, but is careful not to use his lightsaber or the Force, in case anybody finds out he's a Jedi. He is in hiding after all. The opening action scene can be him fighting a crate dragon, trying to deal with a giant creature without using the Force. A nice little callback to Luke and the Rancor in Jedi. This can also be where Obi-Wan learns his crate dragon yell. A standalone Kenobi movie is an idea I hear brought up a lot, but the biggest problem with the idea is that there's never really a driving force behind the plot. The pitches I've heard for this movie usually consist of Kenobi wandering around the desert for 2 hours, which does not really equal an entertaining film. We also can't have him fight Darth Maul because Maul's story is being handled by rebels. So where does that leave us without stepping on the toes of other existing canon material? We do something that Star Wars does best: borrow from other great stories. The plot can be sort of a mix between Zulu and Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, or the more popular Apocalypse Now. Zulu is based on the real Battle of Rorke's Drift, where 150 British soldiers held off over 4,000 Zulu warriors at a mission being used as a small supply depot and hospital. Michael Caine's in it, it's great. In our movie, Kenobi is our Lieutenant John Chard. He helps a small group of settlers fight off an army of Sand People warriors. Now I can feel the collective rolling of your eyes, but hear me out. Yes, this show is called Talkin' Tuskens, and yes, I have spent my entire life savings on Tusken Raider stuff, and yes, I'm an embarrassment to my friends and family who all probably think I'm a crazy person. But have you ever found it a little odd how much old Ben knew about Sand People?
Sand people always ride single file to hide their numbers. Sand people are easily startled, but they'll soon be back, and in greater numbers. And these blast points, too accurate for sand people.
He tells Luke these things, but Luke's been on Tatooine as long as he has, like literally the same amount of time. He's really only explaining this to the audience, but regardless, Obi-Wan's seen some shit and knows a thing or two about sand people. After holding the Tusken Raiders off, Kenobi learns that the leader of the attacks is a former general of the Clone Wars as well. You reintroduce Ashrad Het, the Tusken Raider Jedi, back into canon. Our flashbacks come full circle now. The mission Obi-Wan and Anakin were on was a mission to aid Ashrad Het. You might see where this could lead to some uncomfortable situations. Sorry about your mom. Ashrad Het is a war hero, a friendly guy, and a great Jedi in these flashbacks. He feels remorseful about what his kind did to Anakin's mother and tries to reach out to Anakin, even if Anakin doesn't want him to. This is where the plot turns full Heart of Darkness. Kenobi struggles with what he should do about Ashrad Het. He feels like he can't kill another Jedi because there's just so few of them left, and he feels vaguely responsible for Anakin's fall to the dark side. He's not even sure if he wants to cause too much commotion and bring the Empire his way, but he knows that the right thing to do is to stop the attacks. Qui-Gon Jinn comes to Obi-Wan as a Force ghost and explains to him that the Jedi are usually the ones that need to take the difficult path. He gives Obi-Wan a few pieces of advice, but ultimately leaves the decision to him. Of course, Obi-Wan goes to confront Het in an event that actually happened in the old legend stories. Het can sense what Obi-Wan is protecting and goes to the Lars homestead, threatening Luke's safety. Our climax is two bitter war veterans, reliving their glory days in a lightsaber duel beneath a twin sunset. If you've seen Star Wars, you know who wins. But Het is less of an antagonist here, and is simply reminiscing with Obi-Wan about their time together in the Clone Wars. Kenobi strikes a final blow against Het, and Het falls to his knees. He looks up at Obi-Wan and says, "You think he is the one that will bring balance to the Force? The boy?" "I do," Obi-Wan says. "Why?" "He's our last hope." As Het dies, we see a young Luke Skywalker staring at Obi-Wan from the doorway. Obi-Wan stares back at him in return. The music builds to a crescendo, and then our movie ends. That's my Kenobi pitch. Let me know what you think. I'm Zack, and I'll see you next time.